Hey guys, it's been a minute. I have had a lot going on with grad school and I was at a discipleship conference over the weekend. So I figured I would hop on here and make a quick video before life gets crazy again. For those of y'all who like to pray, I have surgery coming up soon. So that'll be on Tuesday, July 22nd. And I will probably explain more about like why and all of that sort of stuff afterwards. But it is a surgery for endometriosis and it could potentially be very life-changing, but it's not going to be a fun process. So anyways, I hand that over to you. If you would like to pray for me, send some good vibes my way, whatever floats your boat, I would just really appreciate it. So without further ado, we are going to talk today about something that God just put on my heart a few months ago and is bringing back around at a really cool time, I think, as well. So I'm calling today the impossible odds of you. Yeah, you. Watching this, listening to this. And so I thought I would start off with some statistics, right? I don't even know how to say this first one, so I'm gonna probably like show the camera and hopefully it's not backwards or something, but the odds of being born, okay? This is crazy stuff, right? The odds of being born are 1 in 10 to the, okay, it says 10 and has like a little thing, and it says 2,685,000, right? So that's a 10 followed by over 2 million zeros, according to ChatGPT, okay? So I say that impossible number to basically say that you're a miracle. Like every human life is actually a miracle. If anything had gone different at any point in history, from your parents to your grandparents to your grandparent, great, all the way back, if anything had gone differently, you would not be here. And I think there was a statistic too about just like even conception, like how rare that is. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I did my little ChatGPT moment right before I came on here. Let's see, because I did do a lot of this. So yeah, okay, so every time your parents conceived, 1 sperm out of 100 million fertilized 1 egg, right? So it's just absolutely crazy when you really sit there and think about it, how rare that is, right? And so not only that, we're gonna now go to the odds of just meeting someone, right? There, I think, is a statistic on there that says you only really get to know around 10 people very deeply in your life. Of course, you have friends and acquaintances and all of the things, but that's a really small number of people. So there are 8 billion people on Earth. We meet between 10,000 to 80,000 in our lives. So if you're like the most social person ever, you're still only covering like, 80,000 people. And that's assuming you live a full lifespan, right? To like 80 years old or so. And therefore the percentage of that is 0.0001 to 0.001 chance that you just bump into someone at the coffee shop, that you're in line next to the person you're next to at Lowe's. Like the chance encounters, whether they are fairly like insignificant, it's just like an interaction with the cashier, or it's your boss, or it's your sibling, or it's the person that you marry. Like crazy, right? And then the odds of existing at the same time as someone else, right? So it's estimated that there have been 117 billion humans that have existed. And when you look at the span of time, if you live that like 80-year lifespan, even still, you only exist for 0.03% of all human history on like that average number, right? And the odds of existing at the same time as someone else is 6.8%. So out of 100%, 6.8%, crazy, crazy. And I say all of those things to just help you marvel, like I've been marveling at how nothing is random, how everything is purposeful, and really to just, I think, challenge a mindset that says, you know, everything just kind of happens by chance and nothing is super significant, or, you know, maybe one day we all just turn to dust, you know? Because for me, and I've, you know, as you guys know, I've asked a lot of hard questions in my life, and I don't believe in my faith lightly. I believe in it firmly because I have done the work of asking the hard questions. And so for me, say I get all the way to the end of my life and I die and there's absolutely nothing else coming. You know, that's it. I just become the soil on the ground. Even then, even if I'm wrong about God, how much better will my life be? Because I walked around treating myself and everyone else as purposeful. No matter where in life I meet them, what stage they're at, they're purposeful, right? I have just decided that I'm going to treat everyone like their most flourishing self whenever I meet them, because ultimately, like, that's who they were designed and created to be. And what I also really love about this mindset is it sees beyond the self, right? Which is something that I think we could all benefit from doing more of, at least in the American culture. And at the same time, it doesn't neglect or minimize the self too. So it creates a space that honors you and honors the people around you. So this one gets challenging when you think of like, okay, what about the person who honked at me on the road today, or the person who tried to cut me off, or the person who was rude to me, or the person who I deeply trusted that hurt and betrayed me. Like, how am I supposed to treat them purposeful? And without context like this, you can't. If you think that everything is just random and life's just kind of happening to you and that there's no real point, I don't even think you can really learn to forgive, right? But if you walk around with this mindset that, you know, maybe that person just wasn't prepared to meet you, or maybe they were in a different stage of life than you, but that doesn't negate that they were created with a specific set of gifts and a specific set of desires and a specific purpose. I fully believe that, just because like all these little odds that I wrote up here, like, I don't know, you can really feel free to pause, I guess, and read that. Every single one of those statistics is actually like mathematically impossible odds, basically. So, you know, just to think like how much more you could value the random person you just meet while you're out at the store, let alone the people that are actually deeply in your life and invested in your life. How much more can you honor and value them? And like, how much more perspective would that give to you? And so even if I'm wrong, I genuinely think that the life I live with that mindset is going to be worth it. And I also just really want to emphasize in that point that nobody's random, nobody is disposable, and nobody is created without that specific set of gifts and a purpose to pursue. Now, something that I've really been developing an awareness of and a heart for is people just struggling to find purpose. And that's a journey that I've been on for a while, and I've been pursuing just putting the pieces together and learning how to live boldly about the things that align with me and the things that don't, and be okay in seasons where I'm waiting or things don't look how I think they will, or it seems impossible. Just trusting that when I accept that waiting and I take the appropriate steps, that God will open the right doors. And I've seen him do it, and I know he'll do it again. But we live in a world that has a lot of us in this state of fight or flight. Our nervous systems are shot. A lot of us are struggling to just hit the bottom line every month, to pay our bills, to get proper medical care, to feel like the world is a safe place to be. And in a space like that, it is really difficult to not only think about what makes me feel purposeful, what makes me feel what makes me feel purposeful. Say that 5 times twice. And not only that, but what steps can I do to get there? Because the cost is kind of high. But when I find that I am pursuing purpose and I feel discouraged, usually those discouragements come in the form of, like, I'm a waste of space, I'm a waste of resources. What's so special about me that, you know, like, just again, for a personal example, I guess, let's be vulnerable. So with this surgery I have coming up, it is not a surgery that is covered by insurance. I have been denied by my insurance multiple times, and it didn't matter how many specialists from varying professions I got to write up a letter and a recommendation, insurance wanted nothing to do with it. And I am extremely, extremely privileged to have a family that, even though they, like, I don't think anyone can really afford it, they are doing what they have to afford it. My parents are spending a really significant amount of money to get me this surgery that I need. And I have really had to sit with, like, okay, so I'm this person and I exist, and because of the last several years of my life with several autoimmune disorders and health issues and ER trips and several other surgeries that I've had in the last 5 years, procedures, diagnoses, like, it's hard for me to think that it's worth it to keep spending resources and time and energy on me. And that is not accurate, obviously, but that's what it feels like sometimes. And so to carry a perspective that says, like, my life is worth fighting for, and not only is my life worth fighting for, but my quality of life is worth fighting for, because the odds that I'm here at all are crazy. And if nothing else is valuable about me, then my mind is, because I've built a life that I'm proud of, and I've made decisions that I'm also proud of. You know, not every decision is perfect, not every space of my life is, you know, firing on all cylinders, but I have to believe that I'm worth it. And I do think that I am. And we are all going to come face to face with something that makes us wonder, like, is it really worth it? Is this all really worth it? Like, what's the point? What's the point of me? And so sorry, my camera just overheated. But yeah, when you come face to face with that question of, like, maybe it's not as deep as that. Maybe it's just like, oh, you know, a life's a life, this job is fine, or, you know, this relationship is fine, or it's good enough, things are good enough, I'm good enough. Maybe I'm not fully where I want to be, but I can settle for this. You have to, again, come back to this just sobering reality that you are a miracle. Your entire existence is a miracle. And whether you choose to optimize that miracle or not, it does not negate the fact that you are one. You can live your whole life and do no growth, do no work on yourself, and you are still a miracle. You are still priceless. You are still infinitely valuable. So how much better would your life be if you treated yourself like you were? And how much better would your relationships be if you treated other people the same way? If, you know, instead of just dating carelessly, you're like, you know, this is a person that is really valuable and I'm going to respect them. Or, you know what, my boss is not my favorite person and I don't get along with them, but they're infinitely valuable. And maybe if I treat them like they are valuable, if I treat them like the most flourishing version of themselves, they'll start to see it and they'll start to rise to the occasion. Maybe I can call people higher. Maybe I can see the gifts in somebody else and I can speak up and affirm it because I have the boldness to do that now. I have a reason to do that. I have a reason to look a little cringe sometimes, or like, you know, do something that's a little off base, or encourage somebody in a way that maybe they haven't been encouraged before, because I'm not afraid of rejection. I know that you are important. I know that you are purposeful, and I'm not afraid to tell you. And if you think I'm weird, if you think like, oh, like, you know, why'd this random girl be so nice to me, or like say that to me? Nobody else has said that to me before in my life. Like, oh well. Like, I want to do everything I can in this life to let everybody around me know how special you are, how wonderful you are. And that does not mean that every single person that I run into and meet will be someone that becomes deeply important to my life and my story. But for those that have been, whether it's in the past, whether it's now, whether it's in the future, what an honor. What an honor it is to know you. And I just want that to be the way I live my life. And I think that if we all lived our lives a little more like that, even just a little bit, even if you don't fully send this whole entire video, just walk away knowing that there's purpose. There's purpose to all of this, and you're worth it. And, you know, from someone who has been in spaces where I've wondered, am I worth it? What's the point? There's more. There's more on the other side. And maximizing your miracle, like putting effort and time into crafting who you are, is infinitely valuable. And when your cup is full, it spills over and it runs over onto those around you. And yeah, I think that's most of what I have to say. Hopefully I will be back soon. I will hopefully be on the other side of some things, and it will give me the results that I am hoping to get. Every procedure's a risk, but you know, God's got it. It's in His will, in His timing. So I'm sending all of you so much love, and yeah, I just want you guys to feel purposeful. So again, here's my little sheet. I don't know if it's backwards or not, but if you want to, like, I don't know, screenshot it or something. Okay. Bye.